Doodaloo, 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 doodaloo.
Hi, guys. So this story begins by the beach. Boy. Jaman. I don't know why I'm talking Jamaican because it happened in Costa Rica. So, oh, yeah, I do. So in one of my favorite 90s movies, Half Baked, there's this part where Dave Chappelle, he's pretending to be Jamaican. And yeah, he just kind of rambles some of the stuff I was just rambling. So that's just how my brain works. By the beach. I was by a beach in Costa Rica, 90s movies. There you go. That's why. So, anyways, yeah, take it back. March 2024. This is when the trajectory of my trip changed from I'm going to Portugal to, well, you'll find out where. So I went to Envision for just a break. Life kind of was wearing me down. I needed to get out. I needed some sun. I needed some partying. So I went to Envision Festival, and that's basically a rave in the jungle. It's like a 7-day rave, but also wellness. They have like a lot of different healing modalities and yoga and breath work and different activities in the day. And then at night, it's just like, but it's friggin' hot as fuck. Like 7 days. That's too long for any festival, let alone in the jungle with mosquitoes. Like in the heat. Like it was bad, but thank God that I talked to one of my friends before I went, and he's like, "Don't camp there," because we were gonna camp there. He's like, "Get a hostel close by. You'll be so happy that you have AC and hot showers." He said the equatorial sun is like too much; it will take you out, and when you're outside and just going hard for that many days, it's too hard on your system. So thank God he told me that, because I was like, that saved me. But this festival, super fun. I met like a lot of people. The hostel that I stayed at, it was called the Toucan, and it was just so cute. We had a whole crew of people in a group chat. Everyone was just a homie from all over the world. We like, yeah, just had a really good group of us, and um, we just kind of went to the grounds together a lot. Shared rides and went to workshops together, and yeah, just good bonding. So one of the nights that we were there, I got one of my friends. There was people like with mushroom signs, and they were just dancing around with these like glow in the dark like Mario mushrooms. So one of the girls we were with, she got some and gave me one, but just because I did other drugs, I don't want to take mushrooms on top of it. So I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna save this, put it in my pocket, and yeah. Well, I didn't put it in my pocket. I put it in my purse because it was just like a little mushroom chocolate, and I saved it. Festival finished off the 7 days, had a lot of fun. And then at the end of it, like the whole crew disbanded, everyone went back to their homes. I met this girl, her name is Katie. She was really cool. We were gonna road trip together. We were gonna like catch a bus and go up north to this volcano and just explore for the next week or two together. We were both just like no plan, just didn't know what we were doing. And while we were sitting on the couches planning, this other chick came up to us, and she was just kind of like, I don't know, weird vibes right off the bat. She was like very valley girlish, but she was from Victoria. She had like, so she was Canadian. Normally Canadians don't give me this shit vibe, but something about her like made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. I just didn't like something.
Okay, friends. So after I actually Googled this chick, and she was calling herself a doctor. She is not a doctor, and performing injections on people in her home, like in unsanitary conditions. And these injections, like Botox and shit and fillers, they ended up being like really botched, and she had a college after her and other doctors reporting her, and all these injured patients coming up. So my intuition was right that she was a shady ass hoe.
But yeah, she was just kind of like, "What are you doing? Where are you going? Blah blah blah," and like wanted to like started latching on to us and wanted to come along on our trip. And she's like, "Oh, I have a rental car. We can just share the cost 3 ways and all go together, and we can do this." And I was like, "Who the fuck are you? Like, I don't want to share your rental car. Like, get away from me. I want to pay for the bus." And I don't want to go anywhere with you. Stranger danger. Beat it. So this other girl and her, Katie, kind of like hit it off. And Katie was like, yeah, we can all go together. And I was like, not really feeling it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sleep on it. And yeah, like, I was already all packed. The next day, we were planning on leaving. And they were like, hey, we're just going to get packed and we'll take off. And I was like, okay. Like, fuck. What am I going to do? I don't want to be stuck in a car with this girl for 2 weeks. And so I just went, like, I was already all packed and they still had to pack. And then we were going to leave. And I was like, I went to the front desk. I'm like, paid my bill real quick. I'm like, where's the bus stop, man? I got to go. And he was like, oh, just go down, walk on the highway for a bit. And then it's like on, like, you'll see it. You'll see people standing there. And so I went. I'm hauling like my big ass bright yellow suitcase down the sidewalk, not even the sidewalk, just the side of a highway, standing on the road waiting. And this wasn't even like a Greyhound or one of those like charter bus stops. It was legit like the locals bus. It was a $5 locals bus, but I just like they're all going to work and shit. I just look like this. Um and yeah, just hop on with my big ass suitcase. I gave the driver $5. I didn't even know where the fuck this bus was going. I didn't even know. I just like needed to get away from these girls. Well, the one. And yeah, I talked to this one American on the bus and she was really nice. And she's like, oh, it's going, told me the towns. And I was like, okay, cool. So I just started like Googling what was on this route, where I could go. And I found the town of Capos, which seemed cool because it had a casino. I'm like, you know what? I could just go play some poker and hang out and like lay low in a hotel for a night or two and then figure out a plan as long as I get away. And at this time, they messaged me. They're like, hey, we're ready to go. Where are you? I'm like, oh, I left. I had to go. Just so vague. Like, didn't even elaborate. They're like, oh, where? I'm like, oh, I just took the bus. Took the bus out of town. And they were like, oh, I thought we were going together. I'm like, yeah, change of plans. I just have to go. Like, just, I don't know. I didn't know them an explanation. I just didn't want to go. So yeah, I got to the town of Capos and I went to, I already booked the hotel at it was like hotel, it was a Best Western and the casino was called Casino Kamak or something like that. Kamuk. And I get there and it is like the sketchiest casino I've ever seen. Like it just looked divey, looked like something you'd see out of a horror movie kind of. And I was like, oh my God, but too late. I already paid. This is what I'm doing. So, and I only booked one night. So I went to the poker room. The game didn't start till later. And I was like, oh man, like everyone in there was staring at me. It was only a bunch of men and prostitutes outside. And yeah, they just knew. I think they knew I was foreign. Well, clearly, because I'm dressed like this. But yeah, I went went back to my room, just kind of like figured out a plan for the next few days after, and then I went down when the game started, played poker, which is a whole other story, like the sketchiest poker incident of my life. But yeah, I'll tell you about that in another video because I don't want to go too off the rails. But yeah, after playing at this sketchy ass poker room and barely making it out of there with my life, well, it's a bit dramatic. Even though it was a sketchy poker room, I still think it was better than hanging out with that broad. So fuck her. And I lived, so it wasn't that bad. It was funny. But yeah, so I left the next day. I found this really sweet Airbnb and it was like in the jungle, like just outside of town. So I'm like, you know what? I can hang out there for a few days. And when I got there, it was unreal. It was so pretty. It was just a cute room. The balcony led out to like treetops like this, and there's like monkeys swinging by. And I was like, this is cool. This is definitely where I'm going to do those mushrooms. And so, yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Probably all those drugs I did back at that festival killed some brain cells. Not probably, definitely. But yeah, so I took mushrooms. There was a sketchy ass bug on my deck, and I was like sitting there high as fuck, like tripping balls. But then I just named him Mortimer, and it turned out he just needed some water. So I gave him some water. We became friends, and yeah, he was like my animal guide on this trip.
He's loving it. He's drinking it up. He's doing all these weird bath movements, cleaning himself. What the fuck? You eating your own antenna? What are you doing? Weirdest fucking thing, man. Glad we're friends now, since you've been chilling here all day. So weird, Mortimer. Glad you like this bath. I was worried after I fucking drowned you. Just been sunning yourself, then I just dumped a glass of water in your head.
But after I took the mushrooms, like maybe an hour after, I just got a message in my head, and it was pretty much like God himself or herself just came into my head and said like two cities. And I was like, what the hell? Like, this wasn't the voice that I use when I like talk to myself in my head, like internal dialogue, not like crazy. Well, maybe crazy. I don't know if people do that. But so the two cities that came up were Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Houston, Texas. And I was like, what the fuck? And it wasn't just one time, it just kept throughout the whole trip. It was just booming in my head, like Baton Rouge, Houston, Texas, Baton Rouge. Like someone just kept saying it to me. And I I just felt a call, like something's there for you, something's there for you. And like I couldn't ignore it. After the trip, I just called my brother and I was like, Sonny, what the hell? Like, this is so weird. It just feels like I need to go there. That's where I got to start my journey. And I know I was going to Portugal, but something just says like start here. Like this is the starting point. It was so weird. And I kind of, yeah, I didn't even know where Baton Rouge was. I've only heard about it in country songs, and not even like this Garth Brooks country song that's actually called, I think, Callin' Baton Rouge. But there's two other ones that I don't know. One of them's by Mackenzie Porter and some dude, and then I don't know, just some other guy, Jordan Davis, I think. But yeah, they just make it sound like a really sweet romantic place, and I was always like the sound of Baton Rouge. So for these places, I was like, you know what? Maybe this is me and my subconscious and mushrooms, like bringing up things. But it was just like I've never had like a command like this in my head. It wasn't even a command; it was just dropped like and echoed throughout the whole trip. So yeah, that's what changed the trajectory, but even weirder. So after that, like I went back home, my house sold, then I like just killed time around Canada for a bit because it was yeah, I just had stuff to do before I could leave at the end of summer and my best friend's wedding, so I wanted to like wait it out. So while I was like waiting to leave, I went to one of my friends and she does astrocartography. So this is basically like she takes when and where you were born and your exact birth time, and based on these things there's certain places on the earth that like just you do really well for, like career, love, and just in general, where your soul will thrive. So I went to see her for a reading and just get the rundown of like, places on my list that I was potentially planning on going. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see what she says. And I didn't even tell her about my mushroom trip. And when she was going through my chart, there was this one line and she's like going down it and she's like, okay, in Houston, Texas, and it goes over to Louisiana. She's like, if you go here, it's so strong for you. These places, like, it's so. She said specifically, she's like, it feels like based on your chart in Baton Rouge, this is where you'll find your purpose. And in Houston, Texas, this is where you'll learn how to let it shine. And I was like, what? What does that even mean? And the thing is, I didn't even tell her about this mushroom trip because I didn't really like base like this reading on that random mushroom trip. Like it was in my head, but I wasn't even planning on going to those places at that time. Like based on that, I was still like planning on going to Portugal in June. And then when she kind of confirmed what the mushroom trip, like the booming voice told me, I was like, fuck, if that's like I gotta find my purpose and see how to let it shine. And those are the places to do it out of like the entire world. Maybe I gotta start there. Maybe that is where my journey starts. So yeah, that's how I changed from Portugal. Um, it just felt like, if I told that lady and she was like running, like, with it in her head, then I'd be like, yeah, I influenced that. But the fact that I didn't, and she said specifically those two places were like that, like I had to. So yeah, that's where the trip changed. That was the story of how I decided on where to go. And now you know. What the hell? Oh, it's just a fly. Okay. Love you guys. Talk to you later.